Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I finally got my SD card. Now I can record and film as much as I want. Like I had mentioned before, I didn't have enough space on my other one, so I couldn't, but now I do. So yeah. Hi Alexander, are you ready? Today I'm gonna do a story time on me being 19 and pregnant, me finding out that I was pregnant, you know, all the emotions I had gone through, because I'm sure that there's a lot of young people or, you know, people who are just finding out they're pregnant, you know. I know it's really scary, and so that's why I wanted to film this video, to let you know my experience. And yeah, huh, Alexander? When I found out I was pregnant with your little butt, where should we start? I guess let's just start with me missing my period. Me and my husband, like, we had gotten back together because we had broken up for like a while, like at least 9 months, and then we had gotten back together, and as soon as we got back together, I ended up getting pregnant. Basically, I was missing my period and I was in denial, like I didn't want to believe. Obviously I knew I was missing my period and I was like, oh my gosh, like I hope not, but I was just putting it off. So I was like, there's no way. I don't know why I was just doubting it so much, but I was basically just like, oh, it's probably from stress, like I'm probably stressed out. So I was googling like, oh, if you're super stressed out, can you be missing your period? And it said yes. So I was like, oh my gosh, that's the reason. And so then I missed my period for like at least 3 months. And then finally, you know, Raymond was like, that's my husband, by the way, and he was, hold on guys, that's the doorbell. Okay guys, sorry. Okay, so yeah, where was I? Okay, so yeah, like he was like, babe, like come on now, you should probably go and see if you're pregnant, you know, because you're missing your period. And plus I knew that if I was, I would have to be taking prenatals and, you know, to keep the baby healthy. So I went by myself, and I you know, I got blood work done and everything. And actually my mom, I guess she was you know, she was pregnant at the time, so she was at the doctor's as well. And I had gone to my doctor, and then my doctor told me I had to go to this one building to get blood work done. And so I went and I walked in, and my mom was sitting right there because she had to get blood work done too for her pregnancy. And so I was like, oh my gosh, like I was just like, oh hey mom, like I you know, I was just meeting you here. No, I think I did tell her I had to get blood work done, but I was like, I'll just wait because there was a lot of people. And so I ended up leaving. I went back home, and then the next day I went to go and get blood work done. And like a week later I got the phone call that I was pregnant, and I was so scared, and I knew I was, but I was also like shocked at the same time. So I told Ray, and he was happy just because his family is more accepting of it because he's older than I am. So it's like for him it was easier. His mom and his dad, they actually want grandchildren and all that. But I was only 19. So it was like I was going to get in trouble on my side because, you know, at 19 you're not supposed to be getting pregnant, obviously, right? But, well, that's what my family believes. I'm sure a lot of people's family believe that. So yeah, so of course I went through the phase where I was like, I don't know if I should keep him, just because, you know, I was so scared of what my family was gonna think. And plus I was like, I had just started college, and so I was just like, I'm not ready, you know. And so Raymond, he was like, no, you can't do that, like blah blah blah, like there's no way I'm gonna let you do that. And so you know, eventually I accepted it. You know, I knew that I was never going to actually go through with, you know, I don't want to say it in front of him because, you know, but yeah, I was never going to actually go through and do something like that. Like I just couldn't, like I couldn't even bring myself to do it. Huh, Papa? No, never, baby. So we ended up telling Ray's family, his mom. We told her first, and she was happy. And basically, Raymond wanted me to move in with him because, you know, I'm pregnant. Like, we didn't want to be away from each other or anything. So now I had to come to, how am I going to tell my mom, you know, how am I going to move out of the house and stuff like that. So I did it in the worst way. I think it's just because I was so scared of what she would think, what she would say, how she would react. So I didn't want to tell her face to face. Like, I was honestly a chicken. Like, I didn't want to hear what she was going to say to me because I knew it wasn't going to be anything good, obviously. So I ended up packing all of my things, and I just left basically without telling her. She had left to go to the store or something, and Raymond was waiting for me downstairs, and I just put all of my things in his car, and I had drove my car, and I followed him all the way to his house, and I sent my mom like a really long text message telling her that I was sorry for the way I was telling her, and, you know, just basically explaining the whole situation. And I gave Ray my, actually I don't think I gave, oh no, I texted her off of Ray's phone. I asked him, I was like, what did she say? Like, if it's bad, don't tell me, because he was the one who read the text first, because we were in 2 separate cars and I was following him. So, you know, he was like, it's not even bad, you know, she didn't say anything bad. She basically told me that she was disappointed in me, of course, and that she just wasn't expecting that from me, you know. And so we didn't talk. I don't think I spoke to my mom after that for like a week, and then she actually reached out to me and was like, oh, don't buy any baby clothes because I have a lot for you, because she had my brother. My brother is, I think, 6 months older than Alexander. So then we eventually got on good terms. Next, I had to tell the rest of my family. You know, my dad, I wasn't speaking to him really, and so I didn't tell him at all because I didn't feel like I had to, because this big thing happened and I actually moved out of his house, and he was upset at me and he didn't want to talk to me or anything. So I just didn't tell him because he wasn't reaching out to me, and I just didn't want to tell him. And so the person I was the most scared to tell was my mom, and also my grandmother, because she is extremely religious, and she just, I don't know, she's just hard to tell. And so I told her, and she wasn't as mad as I thought she was going to be. Of course, she was disappointed, but she wasn't that upset. Yeah, I mean, I know his head is cut off. I couldn't get it at the right angle. So, hi, Alexander. So yeah, so then I ended up moving in with Ray, and everything was going good, you know. And I was just going through like crazy emotions my whole pregnancy, like super crazy emotions. Like, in the beginning, I didn't want to be around Raymond at all. Like, I was so disgusted by him for some reason. Like, and this was before I even knew I was pregnant, and I just didn't want to be around him. I was just like, oh my gosh, like, I didn't even want him, like, because I lived in West Covina at the time and he lived here in Lancaster, and so I was just like, what's wrong, Papa? Like, for some reason I didn't want to see him. Like, I don't know, it was obviously because I was pregnant, but I didn't know why, because I knew that I was in love with him and that I wanted to be with him. So I was like, why are you acting like this? Like, what's wrong with you? And so I think by my 2nd trimester, that phase was gone. Like, I was over that. It was just the beginning of my pregnancy. I felt like that, and I felt super tired and sluggish, and I would just sleep all day. Like, as soon as I got home from school, I would get in bed and I would go to sleep, and that's all I did. Living with Ray, it really, when we were away from each other, a lot of the time we would argue a lot because, you know, I didn't know what he was doing, and then being pregnant, I had super crazy emotions. So when I lived with him, I felt a lot better, like a lot more at ease. And basically my whole pregnancy was fine, like everything was good. And then, you know, I had no complications throughout my whole pregnancy, like at all. Everything was so smooth. Like, I didn't have contractions, you know, those Braxton Hicks contractions. I didn't even really have those. I didn't get contractions until I was 2 weeks away from my due date, because I was actually getting a C-section, because I was the last person who thought I was ever going to end up pregnant, honestly. Like, I would always say that I was never going to have children, that I didn't want to have children, that I was terrified of, like, birth and labor pains and all of that. And, you know, out of all of my friends, I really thought that I was going to be the last one to have a child. Like, I just stuck to that so, I don't know why. Like, I was just like, I don't want children, like, I love kids, but I just didn't want any. I don't know why. And so, it's just, like, crazy, like, oh, no. No, Papa. And, yeah, so I hadn't gotten contractions until I was at 2 weeks away from my due date. And, what's the matter? What do you want? Here, you want to watch something? And sorry about the noise, that noise you hear. That's actually our fan, and it should always make that noise. Yeah, so let me just speed this up because Alexander's getting cranky. Okay, so basically Raymond and me, his grandma, his grandpa, we had gone on this, he wanted to go off-roading, and I was pregnant, and I was just like, yeah, like, I'll do it. And so they were also telling me, they're like, I don't think you should go because of all the bumps and blah blah, like, it's gonna be really, like, bumpy, you know. And I was just like, I just really wanted to go and do something, so I was like, no, like, I'll be okay. And so we go, and that whole time I'm having contractions, like, they were like 15 minutes apart. And I was having contractions the day before too, but they weren't as strong as they got that day. So that whole time I was like clenching my fists, like I was just in a lot of pain. And you know, you can't reverse and turn around because the road is only supposed to go one way. So we were on that road for like an hour, and I was going through that. I was like so relieved when we, you know, were done with the off-road thing. It was a lot of fun, but I couldn't enjoy it because I was like in pain. So then basically, I went to the doctor that same day because I was telling Ray's mom that I was having contractions, and I called my mom too, and they both said like you should go to the doctor to, you know, make sure that you're not going into labor. So I went to the doctor, and they checked if I was dilated, and I wasn't dilated at all, like not even a little bit. So I was like, oh, okay. So I went back home that night, and then the next night, guys, I was going through it. I was in so much pain. My stomach was hurting so bad. The contractions were horrible. I was trying to sleep through them. I couldn't sleep through them at all. And I didn't think because the lady told me, the nurse, she was like, you know, you're going to get contractions because you're getting closer to your due date, blah, blah, blah. And so that's what I thought. I thought that it was just normal, you know, like I wasn't going through labor or anything. And so I think I couldn't take the pain, like, so I told Raymond, like, we have to go to the doctor, like, I can't do this. So I got up to go pee, and my water broke. When I was walking to the restroom, my water broke. And so I was just like, oh my gosh, I wasn't even freaking out. Like, I was just like, I was super calm, and I was just like, okay, obviously this is happening now, so we have to go. So we let Ray's parents know, and we basically, we went to the hospital. So then I was bleeding a lot, like, but it's normal, you know, it's like mucus, and I'm not gonna get into detail, but yeah. So I was basically bleeding a lot of fluids are coming out of me. Here, Papa, look. Yeah, and so then my doctor, the lady told me that my doctor was going to be in to do my C-section around, what was it? I think it was around 9. And so yeah, I was laying there in this little room for a couple hours, and they had me hooked up to they had needles in me and stuff, giving me fluids and all of that. And I was just going through it. Like, the pain was, it was unbearable. Oh, Papa. What's the matter, baby? What's the matter? Can I finish? You don't want me to finish? Yeah, so basically, I went in for my C-section, and I was so annoyed because they were like, oh, can you move? Can you do this? Can you do this? I wanted to yell at them like, no, I'm in so much pain, I can't do anything. Like, don't ask me to do anything. So once they put, they put a needle about this long into your spine. They gave me a spinal to numb me so that they could cut me open and get Alexander out. So so they gave me the spinal, and after that I was at peace. I felt so good because I couldn't feel anything. I couldn't feel my contractions. I couldn't feel anything at all, and it was great. Like, I was relieved of my pain. So then what happened? And then the doctor, no, don't cry, don't cry. Okay, so then, the doctor cut me open, and I think the C-section was about 30 minutes, and Raymond was there too, and I could not breathe. I couldn't breathe. I don't know why. I think it was because they were cutting my stomach open. I don't know why, but I was like hyperventilating, and Raymond was so scared because I thought I was gonna die, honestly. Like, I don't know, I just couldn't breathe at all, and they had an oxygen mask on me, and Raymond kept telling them, like, she can't breathe, like, is she okay, is she fine? And they're like, oh yeah, she's okay. Like, they were really playing it off, but I actually was okay. Like, I was okay, but I didn't know I was okay, and neither did Raymond. So, so once they got Alexander out, and Raymond cut the umbilical cord, and they were showing me, oh, look at your baby, and they brought him over, and I was like, I couldn't breathe even more because I was out of breath because he was so beautiful, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like, I wish I could breathe so that I could, like, kiss him, I could, like, say something to him, but I couldn't. Like, so then they had Raymond and the baby leave the room, and then finally, once they, like, patched me back up and, put stitches in me, and I got my oxygen back and I could breathe again. Ew, my hair. They took me to go and see Raymond and the baby, and it was just amazing, like, holding him in my arms for the first time, and it was honestly it's unexplainable. Like, I can't even put into words how happy I was. And so that's why I don't regret it at all. I don't regret getting pregnant so young, because I would never be able to meet Alexander if I had not gotten pregnant, and he's the best thing that's ever happened to me aside from Raymond. So yeah, like, if you are scared or if you are going through it right now, just know that once you meet your baby, everybody else's opinion, what everybody said to you to hurt you won't even matter, because it's like, your baby is going to take away all of those negative thoughts that you had, or it's just gonna get better. And there's such blessings, like, I can't explain it. Oh, Alexander, you don't even know how amazing you are, huh? So yeah, that's basically my story time. I'm sorry if it was extremely long. I just, I didn't really miss anything. I pretty much covered everything that happened to me. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the story time, and just subscribe and give this video a like for more story times. And this was my first one, so I apologize if I was all over the place or, looking in the distance. I just, I'm skin chick, pretty light skin crew, pretty face, and I'm high heel shoes. Got love for the